One of the more difficult parts about carving the neck is how to hold it. And for that, I'm going to go back to my super high-tech neck carving base. And that gives me clearance on both sides of it. I don't want to go all the way down to the very edge, to the bindings. I don't want to get to that point just yet. So that's okay that my spokeshave doesn't comfortably get over there or over there. If I really needed to, I could get creative and come at it at an angle. I don't need to do that. I'm going to get a clamp. And now what I'm going to do is connect these 2 points. I'm mostly going to connect them here at the top and a little bit over to the side. I'm not going to go all the way over to the edge to the binding just yet. I really want to go to about right here, and I don't want to get further down than this. I'm going to save this part right around the binding for the very last step of shaping this neck. All right, stop me if you've heard this one before, but there is more than one way to do this. You can use a plane, you can use a rasp, you can use your spokeshave, you can use a file. I prefer the spokeshave. It gives me a pretty nice clean cut. I can go either way with it. It's fairly easy to maintain the radius. It's comfortable to use. All kinds of reasons for the spokeshave. But you can come along and do this the entire way. It's a lot dustier, more difficult to clean up, that's for sure. Now when we get closer to our final measurement, one of the things that I use is a template that I get from a local Luthier supply house. This has information like the contour of the neck at the 10th, contour of the neck at the 1st. It's got a radius on it to check your fretboard radius. It's got string spacing at the nut, string spacing at the bridge. These are pretty helpful. They have them in lots of different guitars. You can get these that were shaped from Martins, from Gibsons, from Taylors, from a lot of different historical guitar shapes and models. The way that this is used is you put this down like this, and it'll show you how close you are and where exactly you need to take more off of the neck. This is a curve that I find very comfortable, and that's what I always start with. If I have a client who needs a different guitar shape on their neck, I've got plenty of others, but that's the one I use. You can also custom make your own, or you can just kind of go for it and freehand it. Once you get it to a certain thickness, you'll probably find that going towards the neck is going to start to chatter. And that's because you're going to start hitting upslope end grain, and going this way is going to be more downhill of the grain. When I start getting close to my measurements on the 1st and the 10th, and I'm just a millimeter or two away, those 2 points are still low, but I'm close. Now I take my square, straight edge, and I look down there, and yeah, it's not too bad. I've got a couple of high spots, a couple of low spots, in general, I don't see any big holes that I need to worry about blowing past those measurements right now. I do see a spot here. This is high. And okay, yep, that's better. I didn't want to get too high in one spot, forcing me too low in one spot because I was using this strangely. Yeah, that looks good. There. Okay. Now this Nicholson 49, the way I'm using it is I'm going forward and pushing, and I'm kind of rounding it as I go. And what I'm doing with this is I'm trying to move it along at a pretty level spot so that I am seeing where there are any high spots, any bumps. Because moving it in this motion tends to kind of knock the tops of those and give them a different texture that I can see. And I'm getting pretty level. I'm going to check it with my template. And the shoulders on this are definitely too large. So I need to start bringing those down. Because right now it's more of a D shape. I do need to get rid of this ridge at the nut before fine-tuning the rest of the neck, is to get this so I'm not bumping into it constantly. Now this is kind of where we get into shaping the volute. Here's our first fret mark, and here's our volute shape. What I am doing is right at the nut, I'm shaping this very similar to the way I did that at the first fret. And in final shaping, I'm going to bring this curve a little more around here. So this is a little more graceful transition from this curve into this curve. I'm generally not a big fan of scrubbing with a block plane, but sometimes there really isn't another choice for it. Especially where accuracy isn't a factor quite yet. It's just doing work. All right, we're getting very close. I'm continuing to check for flatness here. It looks like I got a little bit of a hump right there. Not much. Gonna take care of that. Just want to check this periodically as I go along. I know I'm not at my final depth here and here yet, but if I can prevent those holes and high spots, all the better. I also want to check my template from time to time and see how close to that radius I am. Even if I'm checking up here with a larger width, I can still get a good idea of my radius and whether I'm getting close. It's actually looking pretty good. I've got a little bit of a flat spot on this side. Now what I'm looking to do, I'm getting this pretty close, but I'm looking at fine-tuning the areas right here from the peg head, the little small semi-volute I'm doing here, and then the heel. So my low spot is kind of disappearing. It's right here. And what I'm trying to do is get this fine-tuned behind it and work this peg head semicircle, trying to carve this without getting too deep. It's always a danger. Still feel my low spot. And I'm going to fine tune this a little bit, back this off. It's taking a fairly heavy cut. I want to reduce that a little bit. There we go, that's a little better. And this whole time I'm really trying to still preserve this flat spot down here. I went into it once right there a little bit, but that's going to end up to be all sanded, and I'll get to that in a minute. Still have a high spot right above my low mark. This is where I really want to take things slow and be somewhat methodical about this. The radius looks good down here. Starts to get a little bit wide at the shoulders, understandable. Still have a lot of flat spots that are really just kind of knife marks. Just keep checking for my high spots. And they're almost gone. One small one right there. Yeah, that looks good. At least down the center line. I like to work the center line with the level and then go out from there. But once I have the center line, then everything else becomes a little easier. Yeah, that radius is looking good. This is getting pretty close to being able to get sanded. You can take it off, give it a feel. So far, it actually feels really pretty straight. I mean, it's squared off on these edges, and that's to be expected because we haven't touched that, but that's pretty good. That volute is coming out okay. I think I'm going to be able to finish the rest of that shape with sandpaper. It's a little rough right now because of the rasp. And those rasp lines are a perfect segue into sanding. So this is a great place to end the rough shaping video. We will pick up on final shaping of the heel and final sanding of the entire neck in the next video. So we'll see you then.